Alright, cyber friends, we are back for another little interesting fact that I found on this Cybertruck. So, I'm going into the autopilot settings here, and under full self-driving, I looked at my phone for apparently a little too long, even though I was paying attention to the road. Alright, cyber friends, we are back for another little interesting fact that I found on this Cybertruck. So, I'm going into the autopilot settings here, and under full self-driving, I looked at my phone for apparently a little too long, even though I was paying attention to the road. Alright, so do I have some concerns about this thing right now? Absolutely, yes, I do. I think it is a travesty that Tesla is doing some of the things they're doing right now. They're taking what is a very high quality product, and it seems like they're just trying to cut costs in a few too many ways. Alright, so we're back in the car. We're going to reboot the Tesla. And I'm going to show you how to do that here. Just turn a light on. Alright, so there's two buttons. Two little scroll wheels here. We're going to press and hold both. It's not going to like that, but the screen will reset. And now we just have to wait. The logo is coming back up. That's a good sign. I'll turn the light off here. If you notice, that process took 30 seconds. I don't know. To me, it felt like it was a lot longer, but it is what it is. We're going to try going into this god-awful Live One app and see what happens. But right now, it is loading and nothing is happening. Okay, there we go. And of course I have to turn the music down really low. And I won't be able to actually play it for you, but we'll see if this actually fixed my problem. So far, it does not appear as though it did. Although looks can be deceiving, apparently it finally worked. But it's been offline for about 2 days. One thing while I'm here, I want to check the autopilot. I am curious to see if turning the car physically on and off took the strikeout away, and it did not. So the next test is going to be to find out whether or not updating the software will reset that. But that's not going to happen until I get to dinner, and I'm just going to have it update while I'm having a bite to eat. So stay tuned. Alright, here's something stupid. I reset the Cybertruck just a few minutes ago, and now it says no connectivity. So I guess my lifetime premium connectivity just only applies when Tesla feels like it does. I am starting to get real tired of this. You know, like I've said before, I had previously thought that Tesla was doing a very good job of making vehicles. I love the Model 3. I have loved the Cybertruck as far as how it performs up until now. you know, these are kind of some unforgivable issues when the connection that comes with the car just doesn't work. And I don't know, maybe it's just taking a while for it to connect to the satellites. I want to say it's probably not because I sent angry messages. Sorry for the pause there. I was trying to come up with a non-cuss word that may or may not start with a B. But I may have sent Tesla service a few messages about the streaming service not working and about some of the issues that I've been experiencing over the past couple days with this truck. All in all, I'm not too pleased at the moment. Now, there are some really nice things about this truck. You know, it does handle really well. It still has that acceleration. Interiorly, the quality is pretty nice, except for that seat with, you know, the wrinkle looking like someone who weighs 500 pounds sat in it for a day. You know, I know some of these issues are going to be fixed, but for right now, they are just driving me crazy. They are quite annoying. At the very least, the GPS seems to be up. I'm going to oh, can I even navigate here? No, I guess I can't without without internet connectivity. I can't even search for places, so the navigation computer is basically shot also. So that's fun. I'm going to stop the video here before I get on the street. I'm probably going to pull back in the parking lot and get directions to where I'm going. Tesla, come on. You guys got to step it up. All right. This is going to be a little bit of a blurry video because I'm driving at night and the lights are directly in the camera. You can't see, but I am using the autopilot feature. My connectivity to the Tesla streaming service still hasn't come back. It's been a few minutes. I could try rebooting again, or I can try waiting. I'm not sure what I want to do just yet, but what I did want to do is test to see whether or not the autopilot worked when it didn't have internet connection. I just wanted to see if there were going to be any issues with that, or if it was going to be disabled or anything. So far it seems like it's working just fine.
At the light, turn left onto Goodkirk Street. Signs for Ohio 8 South.
I guess not. Some people pulled over. Emergency services going one direction in addition to someone being pulled over. I was kind of hoping to see whether or not the Tesla was going to pull over to the side of the road, but I guess it didn't happen. We didn't, I don't even know how to say that. We didn't luck out that emergency services were activated. That sounds horrible. It would have been great for the test, bad for whoever needed an ambulance. But since I can't control that, I guess I'm just going to look on the bright side and say it would have been a nice test for us. But I'm sure it will happen again. I mean, that does seem to be a common occurrence. The only question is, am I going to be able to catch it on camera, or am I going to be, you know, using my phone like a normal person and just having it sit down in the little charging cradle? Anyway, since there were no issues with the autopilot, as I stated, I am not hands on the wheel right now.
In 1,000
And it
feet,
doesn't seem to be
turn
giving
left
me
onto
any
Rand
trouble
Avenue.
whether or not I'm paying attention, which of course I am, and I am ready to take over. But in the interest of safety, I'm going to stop the video after we get through this construction. And it did.
Take the next left onto Rand Avenue.
All right, so you can hear my GPS going in the background. It still says no connectivity, so that sucks. But
in 800 feet,
here,
turn left onto South Maple Street.
Well, I've started the update, and a couple minutes in, this could be a problem. It seems to be stuck at 10%. It doesn't seem like it's wanting to go anywhere. The screen on the Cybertruck also seems to be stuck, and I could not tell you for the life of me whether or not it's actually going to update. I think we might be in luck. It's installing in waves here. I was a little bit worried when it got stuck at 10% for a couple minutes, but the next thing I knew, I blinked and it jumped up to 30%. So I think we're going to be good. At least I hope. It's still a little sketchy that it's stuck at 30% for right now. I'm hoping that this just comes in waves. It's just weird. I have had it update before, and I can actually see, every couple minutes it ticks over a percentage or two. I haven't seen it jump up in waves of 10s or, starting at 10, then jumps up 20 to 30. Haven't seen that before, but it is what it is. As long as it installs, I will be happy at the end of the day. All right. I don't know what the heck's going on right now. You can hear the alarm. It got to 60%, basically jumped up 30 points. Now it's at 60. The second that it clicked over, this god-awful alarm started. I'm going to get out of the vehicle and see. This annoying sound is literally only inside the truck. Now, fortunately, my reservation for dinner is ready, so I'm actually going to jump inside and hopefully this will be done by the time that I'm finished eating. All right, we are back in Cybertruck, and let's find out what this new update brings us. We are in version 2024.32.20.1. The previous version, just the regular 32.20, I think, minus the .1. That seems to have disappeared. So I don't like the fact that you can't track what exactly the change was. From what I can tell, the descriptions are identical. It still just says that it upgrades the city street driving stack to a single end-to-end neural network trained on millions of video clips, replacing over 300,000 lines of explicit C++ code. Great. We're going to find out how this actually handles. I suppose we can drop this down and check. And I still have a strikeout due to improper driving. Full self-driving supervised will no longer be operational after 5 autopilot strikeouts. Well, I guess I only have 4 remaining, so let's try to pay attention and get this trip going. Alright, I'm going to be navigating to a charging station, and let's see if there's any performance improvements here. I want to go to, let's see, I really wish it would orient the map north, south, but whatever. I'm going to go to this charging station. I think at this hour it is the cheaper one around here. Okay. The connection did come up about halfway through my trip here, I guess. whether or not the car is going to start on its own on this trip, and I think the answer is no. So in order to get this trip started, I actually have to tap the accelerator a little bit. Maybe we don't want to run into a pole. At least it stopped. If you can tell here on the screen, it does actually show the obstacle. Why it didn't just avoid it in the first place, I don't know. But this autopilot needs a little bit of work still. Alright, so let's just take it around. And I'm going to turn on climate control because I am getting cold. Alright, we are back on autopilot, and oh, it wants to take me behind the shopping center here. Okay. I mean, at least it's taking me to a regular street here.
Now turn right onto Springside Drive.
I am going to get ready just in case it doesn't want to stop for the semi. But it looks like the semi driver is actually stopping. Okay, no problems.
Now turn left onto Medina Road.
And I really am freezing my tail off, so I'm going to heat the seats. Whew. It is 12C out. 73 degrees humidity. That is just... oh. Anyway, preconditioning the battery for fast charge. We're going to go from 43% back up to the normal charging limit here. I'm not really seeing any crazy improvements so far.
In 500 feet,
Even
take
though
the
it's still
Interstate
early.
77 South, Ohio 21 southbound right toward Akron, Massillon.
It does feel like natural driving. Some of the lane changes are,
Now take the
I
Interstate
think,
77
smoother
South
than
ramp on the
how I
right.
take them. We'll see how it handles this turn here. I mean, the speed feels appropriate. I'm going to say that probably wasn't the smoothest turn possible, but it wasn't terrible either. And this particular turn is actually very smooth. Doing okay so far. This segment of the video should be about 20 minutes. Give or take, a little bit of traffic. Let's see how that goes.
In
Alright,
1,000
speed
feet,
limit
keep
is
right to
65 miles
Ohio
per hour.
21 south toward
The truck is
Interstate
driving at
76 west.
64. I really don't like that strikeout feature, by the way.
Now keep right to take Ohio 21 south.
I understand why it's there, but alright. So we're going about 4 miles under the speed limit, so let's hit the accelerator and get up to where we should be. We're now driving a little bit more in line with what's normal. Just an observation and a recommendation for Tesla. I think it would be a fantastic idea if they had the ability to slow down when you're in autopilot. What I'm noticing is you can hit the accelerator and get up in speed, but there is no getting down in speed unless you apply the brake. And that seems like it's a limitation. I think it needs to be addressed hopefully in the next update, but considering this isn't a very popular channel, at least yet, I don't think that's something that you can really expect unless it just happens to be in the works already and I happen to be in their heads. Who knows? But if it does happen, just know, I know. Here's something else. Right now, it's trailing another car. There's no ability that I can tell on setting the following distance in this particular mode. Now, with the adaptive cruise control, you can set the following distance, between 3 and 7 cars, which personally I don't think works all that great. At least not on the Cybertruck. I've had it set to 7, and it still seems like it's following a little bit too closely. I highly doubt you can fit 7 cars between me and the other vehicles that I was trailing on several occasions. So I don't necessarily think that the distance is quite right on that. Might need some calibration, or maybe I can get that checked out by Tesla. It could be a problem with the vehicle itself and the sensors in this truck. But in the autopilot mode here, there's no ability to set that distance at all. So even though it is in the adaptive cruise control, it's not in the autopilot. I don't know why that feature is removed. I don't know if it's a temporary removal or if they plan on just leaving it out, or if they think the truck can brake fast enough basically in any situation. I don't know what they're thinking in those regards. Personally, I would like to have the ability to set a longer or greater distance between the car ahead of me and myself. I suppose we'll see what they come up with in time, but for right now, it just does its own thing. Now, I do want to keep making these videos, but they do take a good amount of time to produce, so the only way I'm going to be able to keep doing that is if I get likes and subscriptions. And that was way too fast approaching this turn. Holy cow. vehicle was approaching turn far too fast for what was appropriate. Yeah. Alright, guys. So that just happened. I mean, I know this truck probably isn't going to roll over, but I also don't want to go screeching around turn at night in a 7,000-pound vehicle. Let's just not let that potential accident even come close to happening. I don't know if I want to trust this truck to either slam on the brakes at the last second to slow down, or to risk going off the road or lose track of what it's doing. I'm going to say that was a case of a runaway truck right there. I suppose that is why it is still supervised self-driving. This is leaps and bounds better than what it used to be, but that's a safety issue right there. That leads me to believe that this is not ready for prime time rollout. And yes, earlier when it gave me that strikeout, I would still have caught that error. I understand the need to be safe and keep track of the driver who isn't paying attention, but there is such a thing as being a little overzealous. With that said, I guess it's better safe than sorry, especially while it's still in its infancy in the technology. Say that for the speed, for the road conditions, for the inflation of the tires, this does actually seem to be a pretty smooth ride. I am staying in between the lanes. It appears as though the truck is actually staying roughly equidistant from either left or the right margin of this lane. It doesn't feel like I'm bouncing around. It's not weaving from one side to the other, and it is following the road curvature pretty well. So this is a very nice lane change. I am traveling a little bit faster than this semi-truck in front of me. And it appears as though the Tesla knows this. So even though the speed difference is somewhat marginal, it's enough where I am going to overtake it in time. Looks like I'm 4.5 miles out from my destination. Plenty of time to overtake a semi. The only thing to keep in mind is at this speed, if that semi decides that it wants to come over into this lane, I'm going to have to react pretty quickly. We are passing it now. Maybe he slowed down a little bit. The speed looked like it was consistent here. So, doing okay. Curious if it's going to change back into the other lane without prompting, or if it's going to stay here. For the moment, I think the Tesla is content to stay in its current lane. I don't know, maybe the best way to test this with other vehicles would be to have an open line of communication with a friend in another vehicle and have them do certain maneuvers in relation to this truck in order to test the performance in as far as how it handles with other vehicles on the road and their actions. Obviously it would have to be very carefully orchestrated. I might be able to make that happen if I get enough people interested in these videos. But again, I'm going to need some likes, some subscriptions, and just share the video. You know, if you have a Cybertruck, or even if you just want to know more about the autopilot, how that works, that is more what I'm focusing on right now, is exploring the features here. You know, share the channel, get it out there, and let's help improve this technology. I do think Tesla needs to be aware of some of the issues that I found. I'm hoping that the little audio reports that I give when I take it out of autopilot unexpectedly, I hope they're actually reviewing that and that those are getting addressed, because they are important issues at times. Some of the time they're just minor inconveniences, like the truck not being able to figure out how a parking garage works. And, you know, I can kind of forgive it for that one, because sometimes those aren't the easiest to navigate even for real people. I think in time it can happen.
In 1 mile, take exit
But
2 on the right onto
it
Ohio
isn't
Street towards
there yet, so again, let's just keep doing our thing, making sure that Tesla gets informed about all the issues that are being found, and hopefully they can use more of those computer models to train their Tesla fleet to drive even better. Apparently they replaced 300,000 lines of code with AI neural networking, whatever that is. Not a computer person. Maybe they can use the same thing to improve their driving even more. But okay, we are merging over, or just merged over. Looks like we did pass one more large truck.
Now take exit 2 on the right.
And here we are coming up to an exit, so I'm gonna
In
I'm gonna keep
500
my foot on the
feet,
brake
turn
here.
right onto Worcester Pike Road. Now turn right
that
onto
last-
Worcester Pike Road.
That last little bit was just unreal. That last segment of the trip where it didn't want to slow down for a major turn. I think here it's no big deal. I can turn right on red and it turned green anyway, so it didn't matter. But
In 500 feet, turn left. Then
that
you will arrive at your
is
destination.
another issue that I found, is that there are times where there's a very clear no right turn
Now
on
turn
red
left.
sign, and the truck wants to just ignore it. It wants to take that right turn just because it knows that you can do a right turn on red in most places.
Now turn right.
And I guess we're stopped. Okay, so the charging station's actually over here. It at least got me within, 50 feet
Now you have arrived at your
Give or take.
destination.
of the charging station here. Alright, so here's the auto park. There is no park with the Tesla pulling in forward. I really wish that it had that feature, just because sometimes you want to pull straight in. At this particular charging station, it's not that big a deal, but over to my... No, it's actually not at this station. There are some charging stations for Tesla that the charging port is on the side, so you pull up to a curb and the charging bay is actually, to your left or right, depending on which side you pull in or back up to, and you just can't pull in forward. And I don't know if that's because they want you backing in all the time or if there's another reason for it, but I'm going to plug this Tesla in and see how long it's going to take to charge. Okay. Now, I realize you can't see the steering wheel here, but I was not touching the steering wheel. I know with my hand here and the camera being there you couldn't see it, but I really was using the self-driving autopilot. It looks like this is going to be 45 minutes to charge. There are quite a few Teslas here right now, but no big deal. I'm going to end the video here so that I can get some rest and maybe go get a drink from inside. Hope to see you guys again. On this last trip though, I didn't see any major changes in the autopilot. If anything, that one turn was a little bit concerning, and I don't think it's been improved drastically from the previous versions. So keep that in mind if you're looking at getting one of these, or if you're looking into buying the full self-driving. I just don't think it's ready. But, the only way that it's going to be ready is by getting Teslas out there and getting hours logged on their system to improve it. So, with that said, peace out, guys.